Testing, is this thing on? Can anyone hear me? I've asked for a raise and I guess I fucked around and found out. That's right, you've heard me. I asked for a raise after only being at my job for what, 3 months? Yep, that's me. Let me tell you what happened at my HR meeting. Is it nighttime? Yes. Am I drinking coffee? Duh. If you've ever had that moment where you're staring at your paycheck thinking, how the hell am I gonna make this work? Just know that was me, still is me, currently. That was me a few weeks ago, but it currently still is me. No frills, no crazy spending habits, just me, my responsibilities, and the glaring reality that my salary just isn't cutting it. I knew something had to give, something had to change, so I took a leap. And today I'm going to be sharing with you what happened when I decided to ask for the salary that I deserve and why I went ahead and asked for it after only being at my new employment for 3 months. Let's get it. So I initially went to my supervisors about this just to be transparent. I already knew it was something that would be above their decision making. So I already knew that I would have to go to HR eventually, but I did want to be honest. I did want to communicate and I wanted to be transparent about not only what I was dealing with, but what I needed and wanted to be able to stay and work here happily and successfully. So my supervisors, bless their hearts, they didn't shut me down when I brought it up. In fact, they encouraged me to go to HR. And let me just say, this little nudge was the start of a powerful journey where I learned that the real win isn't always what's on paper. May not be what's always on paper, but it can be what's in the bank account, right? So, going into the meeting, I prepped like my life depended on it. I probably could have prepped better. I typed up my points, rehearsed my delivery, and I even gave myself a mini pep talk in the car on my way to dropping my son off to school. On this drive, though, life definitely kept lifing and decided to have other plans for me than to just allow me to get my mind ready for this meeting that could decide whether or not I would be staying at my current employment, right? So, on the way to dropping my son off to school before my meeting, I had a moment on the road. Two deer decided to leap onto the road out of nowhere in front of the car in front of me. And this car wasn't speeding at all, but there was literally nothing that the car could do. One deer made it, the other didn't. Well, I knew that the other deer didn't make it when I could see its body literally tumbling and skidding across the pavement in front of me. So yes, I had to steer my car to avoid the chaos. And I saw that the car in front of me pulled over. And so I put on my hazard lights and I pulled over as well, just to make sure that everything was okay. Knowing that I still needed to drop my son off at work, and I need to drop him off at work. Knowing that I still needed to drop my son off at school, and I also still needed to make it to a totally separate building for my meeting with HR. Anyhow, nonetheless, I pull over, put on my hazards, tell my son I'll be right back, and I go and I run to the car behind me, and I check on the lady, and I'm asking her through her windshield as I'm running up to her car, are you okay? Are you okay? When I get to her driver's side window, she lets it down and I can clearly see that she is crying hysterically. And so I also see that she's, like fidgeting, rumbling with her phone, like scrolling, trying to find maybe a contact. So I tell her, call who you need to call. Do you want me to call the police for you? She was like so frantic and what appeared to be anxious that she could barely even respond. All she was able to manage to say was they came out of nowhere. She was crying, she was shaking, and she shook her head yes for me to go ahead and call the police for her. So I made that call for her, let the operator know what I saw, and I also let them know that she was trying to pull herself together. I asked them if there was anything else that they needed from me. They said no, and so they just told me to let the woman know that help was on the way. So I went and I let her know that someone would be on the way, but my son was in the back seat and I was about to be late for work. I looked her in her eyes and I said, I love you. Don't let this ruin your day. You got this. Did I know her? No. Why did I tell her I love her? Because I do. And I honestly don't think that if something in me didn't love the neighbor that was driving in front of me, I wouldn't have pulled over to check on them. Also, had this been my mom, my sister, anybody in my family, or anybody that I love, I would have wanted someone to check and make sure that they were all right just as well. I don't know. It didn't feel like I could carry on with the day in a positive light unless I did what I did. So I did it. It was on my heart to do it, so I just went ahead and did it. As I drove off, I could see the blue lights in my rearview mirror, so I knew that as I was pulling off, someone would quickly be there to make sure that she was okay. This literally happened right down the street from me dropping off my son at school, so I was literally at the school within the next 2 minutes after leaving her. So it was like the last 2 minutes on the way, I was hyper aware of everything. It slick felt symbolic, like life was saying, yeah, Ty, you've got obstacles, but Tyree, keep driving. Stay in control of the wheel. Watch where you're steering. Watch where you're going. You know your route. Stay true to the course. So eventually, after making it to HR 15 minutes early and thinking that I would get those 15 minutes to just sit down and give myself one last pep talk and go over my notes, that didn't happen. The receptionist literally just buzzed me back in, and as I walked through the human resources department doors, the person that I was going to be having my meeting with was ready and welcomed me right on into her office. Great. No time for second guessing. So I took off my peacoat jacket and I got down to business. So I said what I needed to say. I want and need a raise. She listened, she nodded, and then she pulled out a sheet of paper, and I could feel the weight of what was about to come. She said, for this role, you'd need 15 years of experience to qualify for what I'm asking for. Mind you, I've been out of college for 8 years, and mind you, what I suggested that I make in my proposal was under $30,000 annually. So that should just give you a little ballpark of what I currently make at my day job on salary with a degree that I got 8 years ago. Let's think on that. Honestly, that moment could have crushed me, but on my drive back, I realized some profound things. That the meeting wasn't really about the money, not entirely. It was about me. It was about giving myself permission to be bold, to speak up, to remind myself that I am worthy of asking for what I need, even if the answer isn't what I want to hear. So now what? Of course, I had to do some soul searching, had to make a pros and cons list, and here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Your value is not tied to someone else's yes. Just because they said no doesn't mean that you aren't worth it. Sometimes a no is a redirection, not a rejection. It's time to get clear on your vision. Are you building a life or just surviving? For me, that means exploring multiple sources of incomes and deciding where my priorities lie. So, if my day job wants to pay me on a part-time salary, wouldn't it be right to treat my day job like supplemental income? Also, advocacy is a muscle. Keep flexing it. Whether it's a raise, a promotion, a new opportunity, you've got to be your own biggest advocate. It's scary, yes, but the more you do it, the stronger you are, the stronger you're becoming. If you're watching this video, maybe you are thinking about asking for a raise. Maybe you've come to the realization that your salary or your current paycheck just doesn't support the lifestyle that you want to live comfortably, or it doesn't help you get to where you know that you're going, where you're meant to be. And here's the thing, you're not alone. So many of us are navigating the same waters or similar waters, wondering if we're doing enough, wondering if we are enough. Let me tell you, you are enough. And even when the world doesn't give you the validation that you're looking for, remember that you get to decide the narrative of your life. Every step forward, even the ones that are extremely hard, is a step towards the life that you deserve. Keep going, be brave, and fuck around and find out. But always keep driving, keep your hands on the wheel, and stay true to the course you're meant to be on. Even if that means you need to get out of your comfort zone a bit. Even if that means you need to hear a no. Even if that means you need to be redirected because you've fallen off the path that you were meant to be on. It's time that you be your greatest advocate. It's time you speak up for you, even if speaking up for you is speaking up to you. I would like to thank you so much for spending time with me and watching this video. If any of it resonated with you, or you know someone who needs to hear this message, go ahead, share this video with them, or share your story down below in the comments. Let's lift each other up, because we're all just out here trying to build something great, right? And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for the next chapter. Until then, go on out there and get what you deserve. Mwah. Love you always. Peace.